My name is Catherine Breed. A lot of my friends call me Kat. I am 33 years old. I live in Mill Valley, California, which is just north of the Golden Gate Bridge. So, really nice commute into work every morning. How I describe myself is that's such a hard question for me because so many people would say, "Oh, she's an ultra marathon swimmer." And I'm like, I think I identify a little bit more as a ultra endurance athlete. I really love pushing myself in all arenas in nature, but I think the one that I'm maybe the most accomplished at is these big marathon swims.
And did you grow up in California? Were you brought up by the sea, by the coast? Were you swimming from a young age? What were your early years like?
So we didn't grow up by the coast, but where I was born, my parents had a house on a lake. It was kind of in the middle of nowhere, but my mom says, at week one, I was on the back of a ski boat. So the introduction to the water for me started very young. And then I started age group swimming at age 4. And so that's your summer league swimming, doing your 25s and just being so excited to like get the blue ribbon. And so that was my introduction to swimming. But when I was a little bit older, probably like around the 7 age range, my parents got a sailboat. And so we had our sailboat in the San Francisco Bay. And most of my formative years of childhood were spent on the sailboat, exploring the bay on the weekends. And then we did have our boat in French Polynesia for a couple years. The boat was in New Zealand and La Paz and Hawaii. So my childhood and my fondest memories were being in the Pacific Ocean.
That is so idyllic. I just thought
Yeah.
I think I really wanted
Yes.
to be in that like blue water and those gorgeous places around, especially like French Polynesia, like amazing. So definitely like a water baby, very, very comfortable in the water. And then with the swimming, was it that you were just like quite a natural at it? Did you get spotted, or was it something that you really enjoyed, or was it something more that maybe your parents were like, no, no, we're spending so much time in the boat, you need to be a good swimmer for us to feel really comfortable taking you to these different destinations?
Yeah, the love for the water definitely started very, very young. My mom tells stories of me being, she says 18 months, that could be right. I'm not exactly sure, but where I would just bob up and down in the pool. Like I would sink down and then I would wiggle my way back up to the surface. And at age 2, I was jumping off the diving board, and all the other moms are nervous. And my mom's like, no, that's fine. That's what she does. So, according to my mom, I was just like in love with the water at such a young age. So not a lot of pressure from family to like, you've got to know how to swim. I just did it. When I was younger, my sister and I were put in every sport you can imagine. I even did figure skating, which I'm 6'1". I was not a small child. Imagining me figure skating back then is actually hilarious. But I also did basketball, softball, soccer, tennis, and Sarah, I have no hand-eye coordination. Like, truly, it's I can't catch a ball. And so I think at age 9, I just said to my mom, I was like, "Would it be okay if I just swam?" And my mom's like, "Yeah, of course." And that's when I started doing, like, year-round swimming.
Well, one of the things I always think about swimming, or maybe it's just what I see from the media, is almost like the hours and the repetition and the lengths, especially like pool-based swimming. And it's these early morning starts, and it's just, I suppose it's commitment. It is discipline to your training, to your craft. And I suppose, were you swimming all throughout high school and then into college? And how did you, I suppose, balance that? Or what did you learn from that discipline and that commitment?
Yeah, I mean, the first part of the comment, like, swimming is a grueling sport for a middle schooler or high schooler. Like, our days, we would get to the pool at 4 a.m., swim till from, like, 4:15 to 6:30, get home, and then have to be at high school at, like, 7:45 or 7:50, and you do that 4 mornings a week, and then you have 5 afternoon practices, and then on Saturdays, we would also do doubles. So, it's really hard, but I think when a young athlete has ambitions of being an Olympian or being recruited to a D1 school, it's like that's the sacrifice you have to make, and I don't think at that age, I really thought of it as a sacrifice. I think I was like, this is what I'm good at, and I want to do this, and I have these huge goals, and this is what it takes to accomplish them. But also, you're surrounded by like-minded people, and so that really helps a lot. Is when you're 14, 15 years old, you're not like, "Oh, I'm so disciplined." It's, "Well, my friends and I are all in this sufferfest together, so let's wake up, show up, and try really hard." Definitely, as I've gotten older, that discipline has transcended into, like, my professional life and just being able to train for these long swims.
One of the problems that we have in the UK and probably over in America as well is we have a lot of girls who end up dropping out of sports, especially around like the teenage years. And I was just wondering if you think back to like your teenage years and especially being so tall, being in a swimming costume all the time, did you ever get like body conscious or were you ever supported or I don't know, to me almost not to be worried about what your body looks like and more to be like what your body can do? Were those conversations that either your parents were having with you or your coaches were having with you, or is that just not even a consideration?
I'm so glad you asked that. I had very serious body issues when I was a kid. I remember, like, for swim meets, you don't shave your legs on the lead up before, like, a big championship meet, so you can shave them right before, and in high school, I would get called Sasquatch. Some of the boys on the swim team thought it would be funny to call me Man Bear Pig or Walrus, and it was really hard, and I mean, a lot of girls stop sports because, 1, body image issues, but 2, your period. And there were so many days where I would get out of practice and sprint to the locker room, and there's, like, rust-colored liquid dripping down my leg because we've been swimming for 2 hours. Like, you can't get out in the middle of practice and, like, change your tampon, and I'm grateful my mom taught me how to use tampons, like, very quickly, but, like, that's why a lot of girls quit. I have this very vivid memory at a national championship meet. I was doing a one of my main events, and I you sit down, like, in the chairs next to the referee, and these chairs are white, the ref is in all white, the pool deck is white, and I stand up, and there's a little puddle with, like, the tiniest little tinge of, like, "I leaked," and it's mortifying. I mean, you're diving in to, like, try to place at nationals, and you're worried about, like, your period, and I think at that age, women's sports I don't think. I know women's sports were not where they are now when I was 13, 20 years ago. Oh man, I just aged myself so much. But women's sports were not there and people weren't talking about it. You talk about your period and it's like, oh my God, shame, taboo. You can't talk about that. And there was no one for me to look up to. And so I think for myself now, I've have a complete shift in my mindset about my body. And my body has done Ironman World Championships. It's climbed Mount Shasta and skied it. It has swam some of the hardest channels in the world. And your body's this incredible tool, and you can tailor it to all these activities. Like Ironman Catherine body was very different than Catherine's body swimming the North Channel from Ireland to Scotland. And how cool that we have this ability to like morph it into the tool that we need. And if I need extra body fat to try to go after a really big channel swim and I break a record, that's epic. And I should celebrate my body. And so I hope like I mean, I'm really glad you asked that because I hope a young girl can listen to this and be like, yeah, it's really hard being 13, 14, 15, and not having someone who is talking about this. And you just feel so alone. So sorry, that was a really long-winded answer. I've just never been asked that in a podcast. And I love that you asked that because it's so important.
I find it really fascinating because I do feel as though like the conversations are moving on or moving into such a positive direction, especially around like period talk. I mean, I probably see it just because I'm older, more so just around like the conversation, because conversations around like perimenopause and menopause weren't really there. And also, like you said, that those words about shame about your body. And I think one of the things that can help sort of like combat that is building that self-confidence, not the fake self-confidence, but that real self-confidence. Like you said, when you can look at your body as like this incredible tool to take on these adventures and challenges. And I suppose just focusing in on like self confidence, like how have you built your self-confidence? Has that just happened over time? Is that just with getting older? Is that just either accomplishing challenges that you've set yourself and then meeting those challenges? Like, how have you built your self-confidence?
Yeah, I think a big part of it is just getting older. You have different perspective on things, and you're also like, well, this is just how my metabolism is now, and that's fine. But also, education has helped a lot in confidence and knowing how my body reacts during different cycles of my period. And so if I'm feeling more bloated, it's not, oh, I'm fat today. It's, oh, like I'm in this phase of my cycle and this is what my body's doing. Let's give yourself a little grace. And I think being able to give yourself grace comes with age. And if you can give yourself grace and not be so critical, that can translate into confidence. Also, a huge confidence builder is that my body has broken 7, 8 records in the marathon space. And I have done these incredible long distance feats. And that is confidence in like my ability. So I try to take like, what does my physique look like externally, if you're just looking at a picture versus what can my body do? And I think if you focus on how powerful your body is in movement and gain confidence from the movement, maybe that could help someone not fixate so much on what it looks like.
It's like reframing it because
Yeah.
which is so powerful. It's like, no, 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 just not trying to fit like a certain like stereotype of what my body should look like. It's like, no, this is the body that got me through this record. This is the body that allowed me to complete this adventure, this challenge. And it's like, and sometimes you're going against the media message, which are just being bombarded at you all the time. So sometimes you really have to work on that inner self-confidence, be like, no, 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 it's good to be strong. It's good to use this body in this powerful way. And like you said, like, especially when you're swimming in channels, you might need to carry more weight for it. It's like before I go on my hike, I know I need to carry a little bit extra as well, just to have that extra fuel for the adventure because I know I'm gonna lose like half a stone.
100%. Yeah.
When was your transition to, I suppose, like these ultra distance, becoming like like an ultra marathon swimmer, maybe moving from the pool to the open water? And what did that journey look like for you?
Yeah. So I graduated from Berkeley in 2015 and I went and traveled for a little bit. In 2016, I was back in the Bay Area and I had a friend that introduced me to this club in San Francisco at right by like Pier 39 called the Dolphin Club. And the Dolphin Club is set on the bay, but it has kind of this protected cove. So imagine like a circle, and then there's a little entrance into the cove. And so there's a swimming and rowing club there. And so they introduced me to that, and I was like, "This is so fun! Like I love swimming." I didn't graduate feeling burnt out from swimming, but I definitely didn't want to race anymore. That was still not triggering, but just I didn't need to see my times. So I started doing these club races with the Dolphin Club and the older members there, people who had done like the English Channel. They're like, "You're good. You're fast. You're not afraid of the cold. You should do the English Channel." I was like, "That's so dumb. Like, I'm a 200 freestyle specialist. I swim for like a minute and 40 seconds. You want me to swim 21 miles?" But there was enough peer pressure, and I was like, all right, I'll try one of these swims." And I decided to do a local swim, which was the length of Lake Tahoe. So Lake Tahoe, iconic, beautiful, but the south to north is 21 miles, which is the same distance as English Channel, but it's only a 3-hour drive away from me. So I decided to do that one first. I did that in 2017, and I was the first person to break 9 hours. And I broke a record that was set by a man in the, I think 1980s. So, a pretty old record, and I broke it by over 20 minutes.
That's badass. I love that. That is a big change though. Like like
Yeah, 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 yeah.
to under 9 hours of swimming. So how did you maybe even change your mindset from being like speed based to suddenly being like more endurance based. Like, was that just through like the club members sharing their knowledge? Was that just part of training, like trial and error for you, or has there always been something in you that I don't know, that that your body works really well when you do these ultra distances, that you just get into like the pain cave or just get in the zone or something?
Yeah, I definitely had no prior training. I mean, the longest race I had done before Tahoe was a 5K open water race when I was in high school, and I got out and I told my mom I'm never doing that again. I hated it. So there was no endurance before. What made the difference was having a really great mentor in the space, that was kind of like, this is how you train for this. And that was my first marathon swim, and I think I trained really out of, like, a place of fear of failure. So I did everything he said plus more. I was lifting, I was swimming really late at night, and I was just so dedicated to the process. And what I've learned in the process is I love seeing who you are at those longer distances, and I love seeing how tough I could be and where my head went. And it's actually really nice when you get into that flow state. Like, sometimes it's a pain cave for sure, but sometimes it's just this amazing moment of presence where time kind of stops, but you're still moving. And sorry, I keep saying you. I think I only really experience that in these long distances. So just trained really hard. I did like CrossFit 3 times a week. I was swimming 40 to 60,000 yards. So it's probably like 10 to 14 hours of swimming a week.
How do you fit all of your training in? What does that look like? And are you working at this point, or are you just like just full time sort of swimming and going into wanting to become like a professional swimmer?
I am not a professional athlete. I identify a professional athlete as someone who gets paid to do their sport. I have never, ever been sponsored or paid. I work a full time job. I've been in healthcare for now over 10 years. And the past 10 years, I've worked in med tech as like a medical device sales rep. And my current job is working for a robotics company that does robotic surgery. And so I manage the partnership between one of our very large academic institutions and this company. How I manage it is, well, it's helpful that I don't have a desk job. So it's not like you need to be in at 9 and you're done at 5. It's you need to get your tasks or your work done within a day or within the week. And so I work very, very efficiently, and maybe I'll heavy load like 3 days of work where maybe they're like more like 12-hour days, 14-hour days. And then the other two maybe are dialed back. And so in the days that I'm doing a little less, I'll do a lot more swimming. The days I'm doing a lot of work, maybe it's only a time for an hour lift. And then the weekends, like this weekend, I think I'm swimming probably 8 hours over this whole weekend, maybe 7. So that's the balance has been really hard.
How do you recover? Like, are you good at recovery? Are you able to recognize when you're maybe getting to that point of like burnout, busy job, busy life, but still wanting to follow your passions and do your lifting, do your swimming, get outdoors, do all your training. What does recovery look like for you? What do you incorporate into your life?
Yeah, recovery is really important. Full transparency. I am so bad at stretching and like Theragun and doing self recovery. Like, I suck at it. And it is something I need to work on. But what I am really, really, really good at is sleep. And that plays such a big part into recovery and making sure that I'm prioritizing like a minimum of 7 hours of sleep a night. And if I have a really, really late work day, I am not getting up early the next morning to train because I need sleep. If I don't sleep, I get sick and then you miss a week or two of training. So, like, I cannot preach sleep enough. And I do budget. I don't get my hair done. I don't get my nails done. I don't go shopping, but I do budget in massage. And so I'll get like when I'm in base training, maybe one a month, but then as I ramp up, it could be like two a month or one a week right before an event and really prioritizing that. Because if I'm not going to do it myself, like I need someone to help with that. So massage is great and sleep is king.
Absolutely. Just talking a bit more about your sleep, I just love to know, like, what are your like sleep hygiene practices? Like, what time are you going to bed? Are you doing anything specific to get that good sleep in? And then what time are you waking up? So, what does like your evening routine look like, and what does your morning routine look like?
My nighttime routine, I'm not like a big TV person. So usually I'll just sit on the couch with my boyfriend or like mindlessly scrolling on Instagram, or I'll spend some time with my sister who is my neighbor, which is really fun. So just winding down, definitely no like alcohol or anything, no big meals, no ice cream at night. So wind down, and then the goal really for me is to be in bed between like 8:45 and 9. But like I said, I do work a job, and sometimes I have dinner events that go until 10 p.m. So I pretty much just look at when is my head hitting the pillow and what is 8 hours from that. And that's what I'm setting my alarm to and kind of planning my day around. So if I can get to bed at 9, I this morning I was up at 5 a.m. I'll wake up, get my coffee. I really love this. I love getting my coffee and going back into bed for a few minutes. It's like such a treat. But nighttime, I don't have great routines around like my cell phone. That's something I could be better about. But this is kind of funny. I do cuddle with my cat at night. And I feel like when I have my arm on him, he's like so still and breathing. And I just kind of focus on like his stillness and breathing. And it's meditative. I'm like, okay, like I can go to sleep now. So it's that's just like a funny thing.
I think that makes a lot of sense though, because they do say like stroking animals like dogs or cats, it does release like the happy hormone, doesn't it? I can't remember what the happy
Yeah,
hormone
I
is.
think so. Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
When you're training for, for your different races and your different challenges, and obviously with your training volume, one of the things that I sometimes struggle with is around like food and either getting enough food in or eating well and not always going down the sugar route, which I'm sometimes very easy for me to do. But what does your nutrition look like? How do you make that work for you and your lifestyle? Are you doing anything like meal prepping? Are you like protein shakes, supplements? Are you vegan, vegetarian? What does that look like?
So I just started taking supplements because I learned that my iron is on. So this is also something, just real quick aside. Women haven't been studied very much, like physiologically. And so this normal scale of iron is like maybe normal for a person that's not training as much as I am. But for someone working out as much, that's way too low. And so I saw a doctor at Stanford, Dr. Emily Krauss, and she's like, "Your iron is at the very, very, very bottom of what's normal for like a normal person. I want yours like 3 times higher." And so it was just interesting that for so many years, my primary care doctor was like, "It's fine, it's fine, it's fine," and never took it into account the amount of hours I was exercising. So that's just like something interesting for like women to maybe go get studied and talk to a doctor that focuses on sports and women in sports. But I take iron, B12, vitamin D, vitamin C. So those are some supplements that I take every morning. I take 2 creatine tablets. My nutrition is, I really just focus on like intuitive eating, like eating enough food, eating healthy food, and eating when I'm hungry and what my body is craving. Like if I've done a really, really hard workout and my body is craving sugar, maybe I'll have some electrolytes first. But if we're still craving sugar, fine, you can have some sugar. That's fine. I try to avoid dairy and gluten, but for the most part, just having well rounded meals, really focusing on getting protein in breakfast, lunch, and dinner, having healthy snacks. A lot of times I'm eating at various places. So I could be eating at the hospital one day, at home the next day. When I'm driving from one place to the other, I'm eating with my like salad on my lap. So it's really hard to get like consistent meals or food because I'm not around like microwaves all the time. So meal prep would be a little hard. And I don't have like a fridge. I mean, I could do a freezer, but I do nutrition during my events, during endurance days or endurance races or swims. I am very good at that. And that has been, I mean, 10 years in honing that. And I think nutrition when you start pushing 4 hours in an event, nutrition is one of the most important things. And so, really focusing on what I'm getting every 30 minutes, how I'm getting it, and staying on top of that has been important to my success.
Could we dig into one of your records, one of your races that you've done, and talk about the nutrition and how you made it work? So either what you had just before the race, what you were having during the race, and what you've had afterwards that you've sort of like dialed in now that you know works for your body, your fueling, your metabolic, and what you're doing. What would that look like?
So, my favorite meal in the mornings before the swims are waking up very early or giving myself a lot of time before the swim so that I can digest a little. And breakfast will be oatmeal with a little bit of water. So it's very thick. And then I'll make two like runny eggs and put them on the oatmeal with some salt, pepper, and mix all that together. So it's savory oatmeal. I found that that's been a fantastic breakfast. The day before, I'll overdo it with liquid and electrolytes. And then the morning of, again, another electrolyte and fluids. And then we head to the swim. And what's interesting about a lot of these marathon swims is they start at night. So your whole system's kind of messed up because you're having breakfast at like 8 p.m. and the swim starts at 10 or 11 p.m. But then during the swims, I've started using Morton Nutrition, and I'll start at the 1 hour mark and have about 6 to 8 fluid ounces with half of one of their 320 packets. And I'll basically do a little bit of caffeine and then two feeds. And a feed is every 30 minutes after the hour mark. And a feed is them throwing me this water bottle mixture on a string off of the boat, and I'll chug that in about 10 seconds. And so I'll do the 6 to 8 ounces with the caffeine, and then I'll do two without caffeine, and then another one with caffeine. And I just kind of follow that pattern all the way until 12 hours is done or 14 hours is done, however long the swim takes. I will occasionally have them give me like a peanut butter packet just to get something that feels a little bit more solid, or maybe a more in granola bar every 4 hours. And that also gives me maybe a minute to kind of stop and just take a break because the feeds really shouldn't be breaks. Those need to be fast. And so that's what I do.
I've never heard, and this is amazing, and this is why it's so interesting to speak to you about savory oatmeal. I've never thought of having like eggs on top of like oatmeal and like mixing it in. Like, I'm part of me is like, oh, like I love eggs and I love oatmeal, but I don't know if I could do them together. But it makes me want to try it and see. Oh no, no, I think that's turning my stomach. No,
No, you should try it. Put some like I drizzle. Do you like fried rice?
yeah,
So in my head, it's kind of the same thing. Like the oatmeal is just like there's so little water, like it's really really thick. And then I add olive oil and the runny eggs, and the olive oil and the eggs make it like the little bit of fluid. And you could add a little more water. I don't know. I don't know where I heard about this, but I think I must have heard about it from someone because I am the same way. Like I never would have come up with this on my own. It's weird. Give it a shot if you hate it and it makes you throw up. I'm so sorry.
no, I think it's amazing because actually, like, the eggs are the protein, olive
Yeah.
oil, the good fats, and then the oats is like the carbs. So it's literally like I can see that all together is really good. Um, just talking about what you shared, like you're feeding, whether it's the feed every couple of hours and caffeine and then not caffeine. How does your gut handle it? Is your gut just now trained because this is what you do sort of on such a regular basis, or do you ever sort of struggle with a few like gut issues?
I am really lucky to have a really strong stomach. I've used Honey Stinger, I've used Infinite, I'm now drinking Morton. I mean, for example, I just got out of basically 2.5 hours of swimming where I had almost 640 calories of the Morton mix, and my stomach is totally fine. No, I don't have any issues. I definitely get out and feel a little bloated, I think, but the only times I've had really bad GI issues were Ironman Worlds. but I think it's because I was like having a different nutrition that I was used to, or maybe what I ate the day before. But I wish I had advice for that. I think I just have a really good stomach.
After you've done like, like a 10, 12 hour race, what food are you having for recovery? Are you like, do you give your stomach a break? Are you sort of consuming straight away? What does that look like?
So after the 12-hour swims, I feel like death. um, my joints are in so much pain. I've probably been stung by jellyfish. I'm a little bit sunburnt. My internal clock is all messed up. It's really hard, especially when you start getting into the 13 and a half, 14-hour range. It's just a really long time for your body to be exposed to salt water. So after those swims, it's very hard for me to eat. I've had friends give me as like a congratulation gift, like an entire cake. I've had friends send me healthy soups to eat, and I think soup is probably where would settle is like chicken noodle soup or plain pasta with just butter on it, but very, very simple meals, something I can eat in bed. The cake is lovely, but I assure you I did not feel better after eating it. But it does make me happy. So in California, because I'm only doing 5 hours a day, it's going to be really important to get like a protein shake or a meal replacement shake in right when I get out.
Yeah. Do you want to share more about Swim California, what it is, how it came about, and what people can expect from it?
So, Swim California is a first ever attempt to swim the entire coast of California, starting at the Oregon border around July 1st and swimming approximately 900 miles south to the California Mexico border. I've estimated it will take 4 months. It'll swim around 5 hours a day, sleeping on the boat every night, and the boat will either be anchored or at a harbor. Most often, it will be at a harbor. It came into my mind. I don't even know when I really thought about it, but definitely like 5 years ago. I think Ross Edgley had just swam around Great Britain. It was like, that's so crazy. But then I saw someone else paddled the California coast. And so I got my wheels spinning of, is this possible to swim the coast of California? And in 2022, I swam from the Golden Gate Bridge to Half Moon Bay, or for anyone that's a surfer, Golden Gate Bridge to Mavericks, two really iconic spots in Northern California. And it was a first ever attempt. And I just thought how special it was that I got to swim this stretch of coast with some of my best friends on the boat. And I was like, that's it. I want to see if we can swim the whole coast of California. So for about 3 years, we've been planning it. We being a group of friends that are helping me. And the mission is to story tell through sport, to story tell of the people, the places, the problems along our coastline, and really highlight the local conservation groups that are like fighting in these specific areas to positively impact the ocean and to make change and protect it. And I'm excited because I've been like, I'm a swimmer, I'm a surfer and a spearfisher, but there's so much about the ocean I don't know. And I'm really excited to learn about this place that I love so much along with the audience and learn how we can get involved. And I hope along the way to inspire people and just create a positive impact. And so that is in California. And I founded a nonprofit that focuses on getting more girls and women in the ocean because we believe when you fall in love with something and you learn about it, you're going to fight to protect it. And women are some of the loudest, most impactful voices in conservation efforts. So, yeah, it starts pretty soon.
This is huge. This is amazing. Like what a challenge. What an undertaking. What a project. Like how oh, so all right, so well, okay, this is where I'm gonna focus. There's so many questions. But like putting all of this together, like how do you even pull it together? Like, I suppose for me, it's like, what does that organization look like? Do you have, you mentioned obviously you've got a team, like, have you got other people supporting you who are maybe like are doing risk assessments or helping with the funding or figuring out like the boat and the logistics and, yeah, how has it all come together?
Oh my God, that seems like another like hour-long podcast to talk about all this. It it's a team effort. Like It is the only reason Swim California is possible is because of friends and people in the community who have helped me with all of those things you mentioned. I'm kind of running most of it, but I've have with a nonprofit, we have on our board a lawyer who helps look at the contracts when we need. We have someone who's works in AI, and she's helped us with optimizing some of our organization and brand outreach strategy. I have a friend that was like, I want to help you with this project. I'm going to come up with your fundraising campaign and strategy. And he ran with that and helped there. We've had people shoot trailers for free. Like, I can't even name how many people are assisting me with this, but the logistics, this is one of the hardest things ever. It's never been done. I don't have a model that I can look at. It's not like Everest where, okay, how many people have done Everest? This is the playbook for how to do Everest. This is the playbook for how to hike the PCT. No one has ever done this. And so I've called a lot of people who've done similar things. I called Bonnie Hancock in Australia, who paddled around Australia. I called Margot Pellegrini, who's paddled the coast. I called Chris Burdish. I called Sean Conway. I called James Lawrence. I mean, I've spoken with all these people who've done similar things. Jono Riddler, who just swam the coast of New Zealand. Dara Morgan swam around Ireland. And so I spoke with all these people and got little bits of advice from all of them. But it's a team effort. Like, that's all I can say is organization is key. Having a really great story and getting the right people to help is how you make something like this possible.
How's the training coming along for it? Are you doing anything special or different with regards to I'm gonna break this down to 2 questions. Is one is like the physical training, getting yourself, your body ready for it. But then also I'll be interested to learn more about the training of your mind, and if you're doing anything different in that regard.
Physically, it's been a little bit different. I've started really focusing on lifting weights and trying to put on quite a bit of muscle mass because I think I'll lose that as the swim goes on. So focusing a lot on that. I haven't been focusing on gaining weight like I have with my other swims because I'm going to be wearing a wetsuit. So that's very different. All my swims that I've done, I don't wear a wetsuit. I follow English Channel rules. This swim, I am going to wear a wetsuit. And so that will keep me warm and a little bit more buoyant. Um, Physically, what I've been focusing on with the training here is doing multiple days in a row where I'm hitting like 4 hours of exercise, 4 hours of exercise, 4 hours of exercise. And so doing that on repeat, because that's kind of what Swim California is going to be. It's going to be like 5 days of 5 hours of swimming. So the training is going really well. I'm having no issues with the wetsuit, no shoulder issues. Yeah, I mean, I swam really fast this morning, so that felt great. And then mentally, uh, I'm not doing anything differently mentally. And I think in hindsight, I probably should have started working with a sports psychiatrist or sports therapist a while ago. I think what I'm really focusing on is how excited I am to start this. The running logistics of a project of this magnitude, plus founding a nonprofit, plus training for said swim, plus having a full time job, plus trying to be a good aunt and a good partner and a good friend and a good daughter is so exhausting. Like, I sometimes just want to cry when I think about it, but I'm like, I made this decision to make my life this hectic, and I need to own that. And this is the hard part. I think the swim is going to be hard in different ways, but because we're so organized and so incredibly over prepared, I think the swim is gonna go really well.
Yeah.
But it's definitely been at the expense of some mental health and stress levels. But I think I'm okay. I think I'm handling it pretty well. I just
I think that's to be expected. Like, you're doing something really, really hard. This is not a case of, I'm just going to rock up and start swimming. This has got to be planned, researched, broken down. And when you're out there, are you going to be able just to focus on the swimming? As in terms of, do you have like someone who's going to be like managing the project for you, or are you still going to be sort of managing it while you're swimming?
No, great question. So we do have a director of logistics who she actually is the perfect person for this job. So her fiance is going to be one of our lead water safety and forecasters on the boat. And she'll be on land working remotely as director of logistics, managing our email, website outreach, contact, getting all the players where they need to be. Her day job is doing that for these big multi-month mountaineering expeditions. And so I'm just so stoked to work with her. She started doing this job the first week of May, so we could spend May and June kind of like handing the reins to her and having this transition period. And so she'll be doing that. Her name's Sarah, but yeah, I'm really grateful for her. Couldn't do this without that. So we'll have on the boat a captain, two crew, water safety, a cinematographer will come on and off the boat. Sarah's director of logistics. We'll have land support, a nutrition, someone managing nutrition and how we get our food, and then PR as well.
Oh, fantastic. And you've got a great website, which is called swimcalifornia.com. And you've got a locations page, which is 13 stops, one mission. And many, many years ago now, I cycled down the Pacific Coast Highway. And so I'm reading through your stops and I'm like, Crescent City. I was like, been there, Eureka, Bodega Bay, San Francisco, Half Moon Bay. I'm thinking, I've literally seen these or ridden past them on the bike. You're going to get the community involved as well. What's the opportunity for people to get involved with this? What can they come and swim with you, or are you just doing meet and greets? How's that working?
Yeah, great question. So, what was really important to me is like, yes, this is an athletic event, but really going back to this is a story of California and this is my love letter to the coast and my education of the coast. And so, what our goal with these community meet and greets or community pop ups, and I do need to add more details to them, but the what we have done is reached out to 10 to 13 nonprofit organizations focused in ocean conservation. And so at each of these stops, we're inviting the community to come hear a little bit about Sun California and how our days are going, how we're tracking, etc. But then handing the mic over to these local organizations to talk about the work that they're doing, to do fundraising, and that is where we're looping the community in is like, come hear about this awesome athletic event and learn how you can protect the coastline with these local people that are doing awesome work. So no, that's kind of the extent of people joining me is on land. I'm being very strict about no one swimming with me. Some kayakers maybe, but the thing is, Sarah, this is so dangerous for a multitude of reasons. And I could not live with myself if what if some middle school group wanted to come swim with me and something bad happened? Like,
Mm.
I can't, I'm accepting this risk and I'm choosing to do this. And we have insane safety protocols in place. Like, we've thought about everything truly, but other people haven't been part of the safety planning for 3 years. And so I'm just like, come support us on land and like maybe like swim in solidarity with me, like on like your beach or in your pool, but like please don't come 2 miles offshore in the ocean with me. Like it's a dangerous big ocean. So yeah.
This is so exciting. And I suppose
Yeah.
how can people connect with you? How can they follow along with this journey? Where are you going to be most active on social media? Where should they go?
Our media partner is Allez Sports, and they are a women's sports production company. So go follow them on Instagram and YouTube because that's where a lot of the stuff will live. My Instagram, Catherine.breed, is kind of where we'll be posting stuff. And then, of course, swimcalifornia.com. I would say like the best way people can support is just sharing, liking, commenting. I mean, you know how social media works. It's like the more engagement, things get boosted, and then we get sponsorships, and sponsorships help projects like this happen. So that is definitely ways to support the swim, and then also just support the ocean. Maybe if someone listening to this lives near a coast or likes traveling to the ocean, do a little research and see what groups are are doing impactful work and ask them how you can get involved or maybe donate a little bit to one of those causes.
Love that. Catherine, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. And I would love for you to have the final words of advice, final words of final words of wisdom to motivate and inspire other women and girls to take on their own adventures and challenges. Apart from just do it, what advice would you like to share?
My advice that I would love to share to women and girls going after big things is don't be afraid to start. Don't be afraid to be a beginner. You are braver than you think. You are tougher than you think. And the most important thing is surround yourself with people who see sparks of potential within you. Surround yourself with people who will build you up and keep you moving forward, even when you doubt yourself more than anything. So just go after the scary thing. Like, you can do it. I promise you can.
Absolutely. Go after the scary thing. Catherine, thank you for going after this. I don't want to call it scary. Amazing.
I know.
Epic,
Yeah.
wonderful.
Thank you.
Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant challenge. Swim California. Just best of luck. And thank you so much for coming on the Tough Girl podcast to share more of your swimming journey and your passion for the ocean.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. This was really fun.
Hey, 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 tribe. How are you all doing? I hope we're all keeping super well. It's Sarah Williams, the host of the Tough Girl podcast and the founder of Tough Girl Challenges. Just wanted to stop by, say hi, and say thank you so much for taking the time out to listen to the podcast. Just want to give a couple of shout outs. So as you probably know, the Tough Girl podcast is supported by amazing patrons from all around the world who believe in the mission to increase the amount of female role models in the media, especially in relation to adventure and physical challenges. And you too can become a patron. There's nothing to stop you if you visit Patreon, patreon.com/Tough Girl Podcast. You can sign up as a monthly patron or an annual patron. There's a whole variety of different currencies from US dollars, sterling, euros to to New Zealand currency, which I think they're also dollars, Australian currency, Singaporean dollars. There's lots of options available to you to whatever works best for you, wherever you are based. Just want to do a couple of shout outs. A massive thank you to one of our newest patrons, Tanya Herrott. Tanya, thank you so much for signing up as a patron. I really do appreciate your support. Fantastic to have you here. Fantastic to have you listening. I really, really do appreciate it. Also, just want to say a shout out to Dan as well. Dan recently completed the UTS 50K, although he did say it was actually 58 kilometers with 3,200 meters of elevation. So UTS stands for the Ultra Trail Snowdonia, which happens in the Welsh Mountains. So massive congratulations on getting the time that you wanted and beating those cutoffs. Really, really proud of you and great to get your update message. I really appreciate you taking the time to write to me and update me on what you've been up to. And, shout out to everyone who reaches out and sends me messages and lets me know about their adventures, their challenges. I really do appreciate it. And I love it when you ask me questions as well. But just bear in mind, if you're like, Sarah, do you think I should sign up for this race? You know what I'm going to say. I'm going to say, yes, you can do it because I believe in you. Obviously, you've still got to put in the work. You've still got to put in that training. And that's when it's a perfect opportunity to go back and listen to past episodes of the Tough Girl podcast. So Dan said through the training blog, he listened to loads of the fantastic podcast episode. He loves revisiting all episodes with Anna McNuff, lots of memorable episodes like Sabrina Pace-Humphreys and Baraka DeVroe, who both have done the race. There was also a recent episode with Lisa Jackson, which was also really special. And another lady who did the dragon boat racing. So listening to the Tough Girl podcast is wonderful for your training for a couple of reasons. One, it's a way to engage your mind. Two, if you're training for long endurance races, sometimes the best training is doing long, slow races. And the pace that you need to be running at is that comfortable, almost talking pace. So by listening to podcast episodes instead of music, you'll be able to maintain your pace more easily. Plus, you'll also get to hear from other women who've done these challenges before, who have tips and advice for you. Now, not every advice, not every tip is going to work for you and your lifestyle. It's obviously very individual, but this is where you pick and choose. This is where you think, oh, okay, I could try that. Oh, that's an interesting point on nutrition. For example, during this episode with Catherine, when she was talking about oatmeal and adding egg and olive oil. I still haven't tried it yet. I still don't know if I want to, but maybe I should. Maybe you should. Maybe we all should. And then let me know what you think. Does it work for you? And that is the key question. Does it work for you? The same with the challenges, the same with the goals and the adventures. Is it personal to you? Does it motivate you? Does it inspire you? It doesn't matter what other people are doing. Yes, you can use them for inspiration, but you're the one who's going to have to show up, do the early morning training. You're the one who's going to have to be disciplined and committed and to occasionally make sacrifices to put in this work to achieve your dreams and your goals. So you've got to be the one, taking those actions and making sure that this goal is personal to you, and that on those cold mornings that you will be able to get out of bed and do the training that you need to do. So massive congratulations to Dan on the UTS. Really well done. Tanya, thank you so much for signing up as a patron. I really appreciate you. I love the fact that you are listening from Australia. That is so awesome. And all that's left for me to say is, wherever you are, whatever you are doing, give it your all, give it 110%, get after it, go for it, believe in yourself, because I believe in you. Take care, lots of love, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye.